Good evening. I'm your host of the Conscious News Network, the Hood Mystic, and today we're going to speak to the outrage of the Gucci hot couture blackface sweater controversy. This has been a hot button issue in the community, in the black community at large, and I've even heard of things about a boycott of Gucci based upon their sentiment, and Gucci even apologized and withdrew the shirt offline. But you know how the internet, things live forever, even if it is taken offline, excuse me. And so if you're not hip to this story, Gucci recently put out a balaclava. A balaclava is a sweater that extends past the neck over the face and leaves some of the face exposed. And they put out a balaclava which is black, and then in the lip area they had red lips. And immediately the conscious community jumped on this. Mr. Tariq Nasheed was one of the first people to jump on this and bring it to surface. And so here is his post on Twitter, and he stated that, you know, Gucci puts out a sweater that looks like blackface on Black History Month and then issues an apology because they didn't know that blackface images are racist. And so racist and blackface are trigger words that trigger outrage. And without doing any research or any understanding, you see black and you see a red image, some red lips, and now you're triggered to go into outrage mode, and now it's boycott Gucci. But let's break this down. Let's understand why this outrage is fake, and let's understand why these images are not racist. These images are actually devotions to primordial energy. And this is the time, and this is the things that we talk about on my channel constantly. We even talk about these images, but in a different way. But, you know, that doesn't cause outrage. They actually cause power. But these energies are what these billion-dollar companies are using to summons power into their organization. And what we have to understand about outrage, what we have to understand about anger towards things we don't even fully understand, or that we do no research over, we just listen to these pundits trigger us into these feelings and emotions, that we are simply batteries to a larger game that's being played. And one of the tools of fake outrage is racism. Just last year, or the year before last, maybe 2018, it had to be late 2017, early 2018, the company H&M put out an image of a black young boy in a monkey shirt. And if you look up the etymology of Zambo, you'll see that Zambo actually means monkey. And so there they go, channeling that energy in a way to get more notoriety to their company. And nobody's talking about H&M now. And so whether they're still a company now, whether they sold their shares, it's always a larger scheme. Whether a company is even trying to go out of business, they're trying to bring more attention so they can simply sell more shares. And it's not about they have no moral compass, and if anything, they're working with energy and they understand energy. So fake outrage is just a tool that the people that know, like publicists, use this energy to bring more notoriety to the company. And this is an ancient form of publicity. It's called in Latin success de scandale. In modern terms, we say there is no such thing as bad publicity. And this is something such as a work of art that wins popularity or notoriety because of its scandalous nature. And that's simply what's going on here. So who are we actually boycotting? Because I know the terminology is boycott Gucci, but Gucci is just a name. Gucci is just a face or a label, and it may have some working parts, but ultimately it's part of a conglomerate called Kering. And they use symbolism and they use all types of things to get their point across. They started off as a wood company and progressed into, and rebranded themselves into a pure luxury company. And if you're going to rebrand a company, you have to understand symbolism. So don't think that a company that's not $15 billion in the plus side is thinking about, making a mistake with an item. They know exactly what they're doing. So if we're going to boycott, let's not boycott Gucci. Let's boycott Kering. And let's not boycott Kering. Let's boycott the whole haute couture industry. Let's boycott the whole high fashion industry, because when we discuss fashion, we're not talking when you discuss the English language, that's why it's so important to discover etymology, but you don't even got to go deep to understand fashion. It's not even that deep. You could just look up the transitive verb of fashion, which means to mold or to make. So literally, high fashion is how the world, or how these elites fashion you niggas. And don't take my word for it. Listen to a rap song. And I got on Gucci glasses right now, but these motherfuckers help me see. And I got an eye doctor's appointment very soon for some contacts. So that's besides the point. I'm not working for Gucci or nothing. It's like totally nothing to do with nothing. I don't even know why I brought that up. But understand what's going on. It's a larger game being had, or a larger game being played. Because this is the recent stock prices for Kering. If you're going to look up a Gucci stock, you're not going to find it. There is no Gucci stock. You got to understand the parent company, which is Kering. And Kering, their stock is rising. Their prices is going up. Their thing is moving. So wherever we think we're doing of a boycott, we got to make sure that we got our logistics together. We're boycotting the right group, because you can boycott Gucci all day, but Gucci is still owned by Kering, so let's keep that in mind. And then another point where people call this thing racist based upon the fact that it's a Sambo, or is made. It's it's Sambo. Like, you got to understand, like, Sambo doesn't mean anything bad. And if you're going to deal with the root of science and the root of meditation and spirituality, then you have to deal with the root of Sambo. Because Sambo represents the three treasures of Buddhism. And the three treasures of Buddhism are simply, Buddha, which is the enlightened individual. And then from Buddha, you have Dharma, which is your actions as an enlightened individual. And then Sangha, which is your community. And this is what Sambo represents. It doesn't represent anything racist or anything negative or anything like that. This is true, the foundations of life, of understanding yourself as a human being. And the foundations of this is taking place in Southeast Asia. And the story of Little Black Sambo is from a Southeast Indian little boy. So we're talking about the same thing and the same energy. You can't take something primordial and ancient and a word of power and then twist it and make it something racist. No, you can't do that. And for the people who don't know, this is what the Conscious News Network is here for. It's simply to enlighten you on things that is happening below the radar. And it don't take a genius to find out what they're doing. The foundations to all of this shit took place in Southeast Asia, and these are by black people with big red lips. You know, these are human beings that walk the earth, that, you know, brought forth knowledge. And this energy represents you, but you think that is racist. So I hope this video inspired you to do a little research. I hope this video could have you not boycott racist companies, but simply support the black companies that are so many black clothing companies trying to make it, trying to, you know, sell clothing and things of that nature, but they need your support. But you're too busy boycotting companies that already made their billions. So in the description is a link to my clothing company. If this video inspired you to do anything, hopefully it inspires you to buy a shirt, you know, and help somebody that's really out here trying to make it and stop bringing attention to these, you know, racist ass companies. But with that being said, I'm signing out. Stay tuned for the next episode of the Conscious News Network. I'm your host, The Hood Mystic. Peace.